Most people fail SOC analyst interviews not because they don't know cybersecurity, but because they don't know what the interviewer really wants to hear. So this video give you the exact answers hiring manager look for. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is InfoSec Pandey. Before we jump into today's discussion, a small request. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps. All right, so what we will cover in this video, so we are going to cover the comprehensive questions for security analyst position from L1 to L3, and this deck have some 5 sections. So introduction, core questions, scenarios, behavioral questions, and some tools and resources. So in the introduction section, we are going to cover the key topics. So the key topics include SIEM, log analysis, threat hunting, incident response, malware analysis, phishing detection, network security, MITRE attack, detection engineering, and cloud security. B. Break down SIEM tools like Splunk, Sentinel, QRadar, dive into log analysis, and sharpen your threat hunting skills. So you will learn incident response, malware analysis, and phishing detection along with solid network security fundamentals. So B. Use MITRE attack, build smarter alert with detection engineering, and explore cloud security for modern SOC work. So if this sounds like your word, you are in the right place. Let's continue. Now, before we continue, here is how the difficulty label usually break down in the SOC word. So, entry level SOC analyst. So, you handle monitoring, triage, and the basic investigation that keep the alert flowing in the right direction. L2, the mid level SOC analyst. So, you dig deeper, correlation, complex investigation, tuning noisy alerts, and connecting dots other might miss. And in the L3, the senior SOC analyst role, you drive threat hunting, build and refine detections, and guide the team with experience and strategy. Simple, structured, and exactly how the SOC ladder looks in real life. So let's move ahead. So the core questions. So we in this section we are going to cover top 10 core questions. This is for L1, L2, L3. So the question number one: what is a SIEM and how does it help a SOC analyst in their daily work? So SIEM equal to Security Information and Event Management. So this is the full form. It's a platform that collect, analyze, and alert on security data, so you don't have to dig through logs manually. It centralized log collection from multiple data sources like firewall, endpoint, server, cloud. So instead of checking logs in 10 different places, the SIEM pulls everything into one location: firewalls, laptops, servers, cloud, apps, etc., all reporting to the same home. Then perform real-time correlation and alerting based on the rules and signatures. So the SIEM connects clues. If two or three suspicious events happen together, it notices the pattern and alerts you immediately using predefined rules or signatures. Also, it provides dashboard for visibility into your security events, so you get clean visual dashboard that show what is happening in your environment: trends, spike, login attempts, threats, all shown in way that makes sense at a glance. It also enable threat detection, investigation, and compliance reporting, so you can detect attack, dig into them with proper context, and even generate report needed for audit or security standard. For example, we have Splunk, Microsoft Sentinel, IBM QRadar, ELK Stack. So these are some of the common SIEM tool that companies use to manage and monitor their security data. All right. Question number two: explain the cyber kill chain and MITRE attack framework. How do they differ, and how do you use them in detection? So, the cyber kill chain is a classic 7-step model that shows how an attack usually progress on start to end. It moves in a straight line, uh, like reconnaissance, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, action on the objectives. So think of it as a timeline of the attack, helpful for understanding a big picture of where you are in the attack story. And MITRE attack, so MITRE attack framework is much more detailed. So instead of a straight line, it is a huge matrix of real world attacker behavior. So it has 14 tactics like initial access, execution, persistence, and more than 200 techniques that attackers actually use. So this give you a behavior by behavior view of how attacker operate. So the key difference is simple. Kill chain explains the stage of an attack, and MITRE attack explain the technique used inside those stages. So how to use them for detection? So in day-to-day SOC work, attack is your map alert to specific technique such as valid account or PowerShell execution. So this help you see detection gaps and build stronger rules. And the kill chain help you understand how far the attacker has progressed. So the kill chain help you understand how far an attacker has progressed, and attack help you understand exactly what they did, and together they make your detection strategy sharper and more structured. Question number 3: you receive an alert for multiple failed login attempt. What are your first step to investigate this alert? So first, we check which account is getting all these failed attempt and where they are coming from. The username and the source IP give you the first clue. And then uh, we look at how many failures happened on how fast. 10 failure in 10 minutes is different from 100 in 30 seconds. So I also check the authentication method being used, and then I check the source IP, whether it's an internal IP, external IP, or coming from the VPN. So this help us to understand the normal user location or from the IP already flagged in the threat intel. Then after that, we look for the big question: was there a successful login after all the failures? If yes, that's a strong sign someone may have guessed the password. So we also check the privilege of the account. Failed login on the admin account are more serious than on a test account. So next we pull related logs like log from the firewall, VPN, and endpoint to see if any other suspicious activity happening around the same time. We also check whether the the password is spray, so or a brute force attack. So this is also provide a detailed clue. And also, if needed, we reach out to the user and ask, hey, did you try logging in recently? Sometimes the simplest answers solve a lot of time. So this keep the investigation structured and avoid jumping the conclusions. Question number 4. So this is for L2. And the question is, what is difference between a false positive and false negative? So what is the difference between false positive and false negative? Which is more dangerous and why? So a false positive is when the system cries threat, but nothing bad is actually happening. So it is like your smoke detector going off because someone burned toast. Annoying, noisy, and waste of time, but not a real danger. A false negative. So false negative is a scary one. That's when a real attack happens, but the system stays silent. No alert, no warning, nothing. The attacker gets a free pass inside your environment. So that's called false negative. And the more dangerous, definitely the false negative. If you don't detect the attack at all, you can't respond, and that's how breach happen. And the false positive just eat up analyst time and cause alert fatigue, but they don't directly harm the organization. And the goal in a SOC is to find a good balance, reduce false positive through tuning, whitelisting, and balancing, while keeping false negative as close to zero as possible. Then, what are some common indicator of phishing email? So Phishing email usually give themselves away if you look closely. The first clue is the sender email address. So look for uh, typos, quitting, look-alike domains. So attacker love using look-alike domains or sneaky typos to trick you. Generic greeting. So then there is a generic greeting like dear customer. If your company really knows you, they actually address you by your name. And phishing email often try to rush you. Your account will be logged in 24 hour. So urgency is the favorite tracer tool. So urgency tracer tactics. And then suspicious attachment. So attachment are another red flag, especially strong one like exe.scr.js micro enable docs. So they asking you to enable micros in your system. And always hover over the link. If the URL looks odd, mismatched, or shortened for no reason, that's the warning sign. And many phishing also have bad grammar and spelling mistake because the attacker don't always polish their work. And the big indicator is when someone asks the credentials, OTPs, or payment info out of nowhere. Legit companies rarely do that by email. And the finally, a quick look at the email header can reveal SPF. So SPF is your uh, IP addresses that provide the IP addresses, and DKIM provide the integrity, and DMARC checks overall everything. So that meaning the message might not actually be from who it claims to be. So spot a few of these together, and you are very likely staring at a phishing attempt. Question number 6: explain threat hunting versus incident response. How would you proactively hunt for threats in your environment? So incident response is reactive. Something trigger an alert and you jump in to confirm it, contain it, and fix it. It is like being called to the scene after the alarm goes off. And threat hunting is proactive. No alert, no alarm. You go looking for trouble before it cause damage, and you build a hypothesis, explore the data, and try to find the sneaky threat that slipped past detection. So how to hunt proactively? So I start with hypothesis based on known attackers' behavior, threat intel, or MITRE attack. For example, are any process running from unusual folder like temp or app data, or is anyone using valid account at the strange hours? Then I dig into the data from SIEM, EDR, network logs, and sometimes Sysmon or PowerShell log. I look for anything odd, strange processes, abnormal lateral movement, unexpected data transfer, and also I check trend, compare with normal behavior, and use tools like network flow data or UEBA to spot outliners. So if I find something interesting, I document it, investigate further, and finally turn that discovery into a new detection rule so the SOC can catch it automatically next time. So threat hunting, strength detection, incident response handle what slips, though together they keep the environment safer. Now here we have a tricky one. So you find this log entry, it is suspicious. Why? So let's look the log. So this is a timestamp, time, user is admin, and action is PowerShell execution command.exe, and some hidden encoded command. So this is the encoded command. We cannot read it without convert into the decoded one. So uh, is this suspicious? Yes, this is highly suspicious and should be treated as potentially malicious. So the first thing is, uh, so this happened at 3:47 a.m., a time when most admin are not running PowerShell script. Odd timing is always a clue. And then it uses obfuscation flag, nope, no profile. The hidden windows is the second flag. So attackers love these because they keep activity quiet and less visible. And the third one is the encoded command in the base 64 mode. So legit admin rarely encode commands like this. Attackers use base 64 to hide malicious script, payload, or command and control infrastructure. This combination strongly suggests fileless malware, persistence, or some form of remote control. So the next step would be decode the base 64 payload and see what it actually does, and check for the parent process who launched the PowerShell, and review PowerShell script block logging, which is event 4104, and look for network connections, map technique to MITRE attack, PowerShell execution, and obfuscation. So this log deserve immediate investigation. Then next question we have, what is the difference between signature based and behavior based detection? Give example of tools for each. So signature based detection look for known threat. It matches pattern like file has IP, domain, or specific rule signatures. So if the threat is already documented somewhere, this method catches it quickly and accurately. But the downside is obvious. If the attacker is new or modified, the signature won't match and it slips though. So the common tools here, traditional antivirus, SNOT or Suricata IDS rules or Yara rules. So the behavior based detection. So behavior based detection focus on how something behave, not what it look like. Instead of waiting for a known signature, it watches for suspicious action like unusual process creation, lateral movement, or strange network traffic. So this make it good at catching 0 days and fresh attack techniques. So though it may produce more false positive. For example, include EDR tool like CrowdStrike, Sentinel-1, or Defender for Endpoint, UABA system, or sandbox tool like Cuckoo or Any.Run. So modern security uses both. Signatures catch the known threat, behavior catch the new ones. So this layered approach keep the environment safe. Then question number now, what is the lateral movement and what log would you check to detect it? So lateral movement is what an attacker does after they get into the machine, and instead of staying in one place they start moving across the network, jumping to another system, so trying to gain higher privilege and searching for sensitive data. So it is basically the attacker exploring the building after sneaking in through one door. So to detect this, you look at the log that shows how users and system interact with each other inside the network. So we need to check the Windows event log 4624, 4648, 4672. So these help you spot unusual authentication activities. And then authentication logs, the RDP log, SSH log, SMB sessions. So these show remote access sessions and file share activity, common path attackers use. Then networking log, so tools like uh, so networking logs, so looks for strange internal connection, unexpected IP to IP traffic, or even a small port scanning pattern. Then process creation log. So tools like PSEXEs, WMI, or PowerShell remoting often appear when attackers move laterally. And then service creation. So attackers sometimes create or modify services to run command remotely. And then common attacker techniques. So common attacker methods you will see include pass the hash, pass the ticket, RDP misuse, or SMB session abuse. So all of this falls under MITRE attack tactic T8008, the lateral movement one. Then the next question we have, the final question for this section. How would you design a detection rule for credential dumping attack? Easy Mimikatz, what data source would you use? So uh, so detection strategy, so you're trying to catch attacker who are stealing password from memory, so look like Mimikatz. Do this by reading the LSAS process. So your rule focus on spotting anything unusual touching LSAS. So the data source we are going to use is Sysmon, Windows Security Log, EDR telemetry, and memory dump. So Sysmon give detailed visibility into process behavior like who is opening handles to syslog, I mean the LSAS. And then Windows Security Log record low level access attempt like a process trying to open LSAS. And the EDR telemetry add extra context, process lineage, suspicious API call, in memory activity, and the process dump, if available, help confirm that credential dumping actually happened. So think of this as using multiple cameras in the same room, and one angle never tells the whole story. So the process accessing elsa's memory will help you to understand the password, has the Kerberos tickets in memory. If a process touch 8, Sysmon event ID 10 fires. So if a process touched 8, Sysmon event ID 10 fires. So legitimate tool rarely do this. So this is very strong signal of credential dumping. Then specific granted access values. So look for these values. So these hex values represent the permission a process requested when opening LSAS. And some non-system process reading the LSAS.exe, export the SAM security system registry hype, detection for known tool name dot the Mimikatz.exe, proc dump, etc. So look for this tool also. Sometime attacker don't even bother to rename the tool. So if you see Mimikatz.exe, proc dump, dumping elsas, elsas.dump, file creation, it is obvious as catching someone carrying a crowbar inside your house. So sample rule logic, so you can target containing elsas.exe and source image not in the whitelisted process. And so this is the core logic. So if anything touches elsas and it is not a trusted system component, it is going to alert. Whitelist process might include elsas dot uh, exe, task manager.exe, antivirus process. Everything else is suspicious. Also monitor for event id 4656, which handle to elsas and suspicious dlls. And this help you to catch attacks if sysmon is missing or tampered with. Then also you can map it with MITRE ID T1003.001. So this is a LSAS memory subtechnique, and then security account manager. So this helps SOC team align detection coverage with MITRE attack. All right. So if you like the video, please hit subscribe and like. Then we are going to jump on the next section, scenario based questions. Section number 2, 10 scenario based questions. Scenario number 1, you observe 50 plus failed login attempt to an admin account from the IP address this and followed by one successful login at 2 a.m. What do you do? So let's expand the answer. Uh, so all right, 50 plus login attempt and 2 a.m. success. That's not working late. That's someone is hacking you in pajamas. So here is what I would do. First thing, containment. So yield that account offline, disable it as soon as possible, and block the source IP address. And then check the IPs from a VPN, proxy, or Tor exit node. So attackers love being mysterious. And now stack the logs. So what did the attacker do after logging in? Did they try hitting other account too? And review the geolocations. So check if the login location matches the users or if it is coming from nowhere land. And call the user, hey buddy, were you awake at 2 a.m. hacking yourself? Hunt for persistence. So you can check the schedule task, registry changes, anything sneaky, and then you can reset the password with MFA enforcement. And then later you can document everything and escalate. Then we have scenario number 2. So your SIEM shows DNS query to random looking domain every 5 minutes from a workstation. So these are the domain. So this looks pretty random, right? Example.com and the random character, then example.com. So what could this indicate and how do you investigate? So likely threat, command and control beaconing via DNS. So random Gabri's domain every 5 minutes. That's not confused computer. That's malware sending secret love letters to its command and control server. So it's a likely command and control weakening. and it looks like a DZA, the domain generation algorithms, and the 5 minute interval equal to like automated bot. So looks like it's a automated bot started the beaconing. So what would be the investigation plan? So check the workstation with EDR and antivirus, look for the process tree plus network connection, and then you can analyze the queries, whether any DNS tunneling is going on, the unusual long queries, the TXT records, etc. Check the domain intel in virus total abuse IPDB or any other threat intel engine. Review the firewall log for external connections. If IP is bad, isolate the computer immediately and capture the PCAP for deeper analysis. This would fall under MITRE T1071, the DNS, and DGA1. All right. Scenario number 3. So a user reports receiving an email with subject invoice, and this is the invoice number, and the payment required with an attached file invoice.pdf.exe. The user opened it. What are your steps? So it's likely malware execution. So when you see .pdf.exe, you don't even investigate. You aggressively assume it's malware, right? Because document doesn't contain any exes, right? So immediately isolate the PC, check EDR, what did that file execute, and review the registry changes, file drops, network connection, etc. And then capture the file using the pcap and send it to virus total and sandbox like any dot run or hybrid analysis. And also investigate the mail source. So identify the sender, phishing campaign, domain, malicious URL, etc. And look if others received same malware bait. So look for the indicator of ransomware, whether the file got encrypted or any ransom notes on your computer. And then check the command and communication server or channel, then lateral movement attempt. And most likely you're going to re-image PC and gonna change the password for the user. And then you can document all the timelines and IOCs for future references. Then we have scenario number 4. You notice unusual outbound traffic, 10 GB uploaded to an AWS S3 bucket from a file server at 3 a.m. on Sunday. How do you investigate potential data exfiltration? So uh, 3 a.m. plus 10 GB upload is like very suspicious. Nobody is doing backup, right? Someone is doing data bye bye. So you are going to identify the S3 bucket, whether it's a corporate or internal or external one. Check which user or service account initiated the transfer, and then go through file server log, which file were touched at that moment. And then you can check the authentication log for the account during that timeline. Were credential compromised or impossible travel? So check other related data. Then look for the processes, the process like rclone, aws cli, wget curl. So these commands used for data transfer, and these are the tools which usually be used for data transfer. And then you can go for the network flow log and check who pushed 10 GB out. Then contact data owner to confirm whether it's a legitimate activity or it's a suspicious activity. And if malicious, revoke credential, analyze what data was exfiltrated, contact AWS for this abuse. And the whole scenario you can map under T1048, so exfiltration over alternative protocol, and T1567 exfiltration to cloud. Then scenario number 5, firewall log shows an employee workstation attempting to access a known malicious IP on port number 4444. The connection was blocked. What do you do? So let's expand the Answer. So port number 4444. Oh yeah, the classic Metasploit reversal channel. So if you ever used Metasploit, you know very well what this port is. So this open a reversal and interpreter, right? So so the connection was already blocked, but why was it trying? Was Workstation with EDR antivirus identify which process tried the connection, and look for other strange outbound attempt, ask user if they clicked something suspicious, check for persistence, monitor the workstation closely, and then document the whole process. Next scenario we have, you see this window event log entry, what happened and is this malicious? So event ID 4720, account created, backup admin and created by IT user John, and this is the time and this is the domain detail. So uh, new admin sounding user created, could be legit or could be start of a hacker's weekend party. So is John authorized to create new account? Was there a ticket change request? So we need to investigate these things, and then check group membership, if the backup admin got privileged group or not. Then review John's login history, any suspicious authentication in off hour or from any unusual location. If suspicious, then you can disable John's account and the created account, and check if John's account is compromised, and then contact John to verify whether if his account was compromised, and the activities you can confirm, and you can map this activity under this MITRE technique. Scenario number 7, your organization uses Office 365 and you notice a single user account with 15 successful login from 8 different countries within 2 hours. So what is happening? You need to understand the Office 365 logs and activities. So either your employee owns a teleportation machine or their credentials are compromised. So check Azure AD logs, IP user agents, and application accessed. Then you need to understand whether it's a legitimate activity or legacy authentication protocol, because legacy authentication protocols are more vulnerable. And also you can check if any mailbox rule created, like forwarding mail deletion rules, etc. And then review the conditional access policy, whether the MFA bypassed or not. So this will help you to understand the activity, whether it's suspicious or not. Then OAuth app consents, like application permission granted and all, and look for suspicious email sent from the user account, and check OneDrive SharePoint access. So uh, so how you can respond on this attack? So you can enforce the password reset, revoke the repress tokens, enable MFA, and block legacy authentication. So investigate BEC for any data theft. That's it. And scenario number 8, so you receive multiple alert for suspicious process execution. Command.exe spawned by winword.exe. What does this suggest? So the answer is, so when word start spawning command prompt like a rebellious teenager, it is a malicious macro 99% of the time. So investigate the document, identify the document opened, and check the recent file access. Then full process tree, did command and control run PowerShell certutil bits admin, etc. Check for the file downloaded, network connections, and then sandbox the document. So sandbox is a place where you can uh, analyze document uh, without compromising your own system. So check the email logs, uh, isolate endpoint if it is confirmed as malicious, then map it to MITRE attack ID this. Scenario number 9, a user calls saying my computer is running very slow and I see a file on my desktop called your file encrypted.txt. What is this and what do you do? So this is not a prank. This is a ransomware knocking on your office door. So tell the user shut down now and do not start the computer because it may spread the infection on other computers. Isolate network segment and then do not pay ransom unless approved. So investigation phase. So identify the ransomware variant. Any so you can identify it from the ransomware note. Check for encryption on file share and other systems and review the entry point. So investigate entry point, whether it came from the phishing email, RDP compromise, or any vulnerability on the system. And check backup. Are the backup are clean or backup is integrity. So this will help you to recover from the attack. Look for the persistence mechanism and additional compromise systems, and check if the decryption tool exists online. So if it is exist online, you can uh, try to decrypt it. So this is a website nomoreransom.org where you can find the decryption tools and all. Then so scenario number 10, web proxy log shows an internal user accessing multiple company employees LinkedIn profiles sequentially and downloading profile picture and then accessing pastebin.com. What might be occurring? So when someone browses LinkedIn like they are prepping for telnet, so then hopes to Pastebin, that's SADI. So what are the possible reasons? So this could be a recon for phishing, insider threat, or account compromise. So how you can investigate? So you can investigate by identifying who the user is the normal for their job, or uh, check the pastebin urls posting or reading. So any data posted or retrieved, and then interview the user if needed. So you can work with the user to understand this activity. Then you can review the dlp for sensitive data and monitor for follow up the phishing campaign and all. So that's it for the scenario based questions, and the next part is behavioral based questions. All right, question number 1, tell me about a time when you handle a critical security incident and what was your approach and what was the outcome. So in interviews they are basically asking, can you stay calm when everything is on fire? So here is what a solid answer should so clearly describe what happened, how bad it was, who it impacted, and your approach should sound like a clean timeline. So, triage, investigation, containment, eradication, and recovery. So that you communicated. So that you communicated with the right people, management, IR team, and maybe users. Mention tool you used, log you checked, everything technical you handled. So highlight that you stay cool under pressure and no panic. So also you end with the lesson learned and how you improved things afterward. So these are the red flags: uh, panic, poor communication, no documentation, blame shifting, and chaos, blame game. So these are the red flags, and the green flags is like calm approach, clear communication, document everything, and did a postmortem. Then we have question number 2, how do you handle alert fatigue and false positives? And what strategies do you use to stay effective during a 12-hour SOC shift? So this question equal to, do you stay effective or do you turn into a zombie after 200 alerts? So good points to hit, like alert tuning. So remove noise, whitelist known good activity, and then prioritize by severity plus business impact. Then use automation and playbook, so you are not clicking the same button forever, and take regular breaks. SOC shift are marathons, not sprints. And during slow hours, study threat intel, learn tool, improve your rules, etc. And work with detection engineers or security engineering team to reduce unnecessary alerts and document pattern, uh, find root cause and fix them. So the red flags are I just ignore alert or instant fail. So no strategy, complaining without solution are the red flags, and the green flag is proactive, organized, and self-aware. Behavior question number 3. Describe a time you disagreed with a teammate or manager about a security decision, and what did you do? So they want to know, can you disagree without becoming the office villain? So good answer structure, explain the disagreement professionally, not drama. Back your reasoning with data plus risk analysis, not emotion. And so you explain things clearly, a technical and non-technical folks, and you respect hierarchy but still advocated for security. And then mention that you documented and provided recommendation and the risk, and if management choose otherwise, you still supported the final decision. So you are a team player, not a my way or nowhere person. So the red flags are ego driven arguments, inability to see other perspective, and then insubordination. And green flags are professional communication, collaborative, rational, good communicator, etc. And question number 4. You are working a night shift when a critical alert comes in, but you are uncertain about the severity. The incident response team lead a sleep. What do you do? So this basically asking, do you freeze, freak out, or follow the process? So a strong response include, uh, first, assess the severity with the data you have, follow the documented playbook, that's what they are for, and determine if it is high enough to wake the on-call person. Take initial containment step that are within your authority, document everything you saw and everything you did. And if it looked like ransomware, data exfiltration, or an active breach, wake them immediately. If the primary contact doesn't respond, use backup escalation contacts. And then the red flag is like freezing, ignoring the alert, guessing blindly, or panicking. And the green flag is calm, structured, not afraid to escalate. Then the final behavior question we have, how do you stay current with security trend, new threats, and tool update? Give specific example of resources you use. So they want to see if you are actually passionate about cybersecurity or if you are just memorizing acronyms. So good thing to mention, like you can start with threat intel feeds like OTS, OTX, MISP, Virus Total. Then you can mention the social media like Twitter, X, InfoSec Fox, Analyst, Threat Hunter's name, and then the communities like Reddit or NetSec. So if you don't know, the Reddit or NetSec is a very popular community where you can put your questions, and a lot of community members, the experts, are ready to answer your question. Discord server, so these are the private servers. Local meetups, so you can join local meetup like Beside or DEF CON, etc. Then follow vendors, so vendor updates like Microsoft Security, CrowdStrike, Sans blog, they always provide details. Threat intel sources like Miss Palian Vault, we have already discussed it. Certifications pursued or maintained, so uh, Security Plus, Blue Team Level 1, uh, CGFA. So these are very good certification to up to date. And then home lab practice, so malware analysis, detection, rule creation, analyzing malware samples in your home lab will help you to get latest update. And reading security blocks, so curbs on security, dark reading, bleeping computer. So bleeping computer is my favorite one. I always follow that. Also city participations or platform like try hack me, hack the box. So these are very good platforms where you can get latest update. And the red flags are I don't have time, or uh, vague answer, no specific examples. And green flag is like specific resources, active learning, recent examples, and applied knowledge. All right, so we have covered the behavioral part as well. Now jump on the tools and resources. That is very helpful for preparing your interview. So tools and resource reference. So uh, we have essential SOC tools. So first, let's quickly go through the core tool that every SOC analyst should know. These tools show up in interviews, on the job, and in real investigation. So number one, the SIEM platform, and the boss of SIEM is Splunk. So SIEM platform are the heart of SOC. So you will be working with them every single day, and Splunk is very famous one. So you need to explain the SPL query language, dashboard, and tons of application. Then Microsoft Sentinel. So this is another big player in the SIEM market. So this is built on Azure, and it uses KQL, the Kusto query language. So you can write your query using Kusto query language. IBM QRadar. So this is another great tool for flow analysis and managing offenses. And also the ELK stack, so Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana, mostly used for custom log pipeline. Then EDRs, the endpoint detection and response. So these tools tell you what is happening on endpoint in real time. So this captures all the telemetry data, your process, registries, network connections, user behavior, etc. From your endpoint, the computer and servers. And the popular tools are CrowdStrike Falcon, Sentinel-1, Defender for Endpoint, Carbon Black, etc. Then network analysis tools. So these tools are crucial for packet label and traffic investigation. So Wireshark is packet capture and deep analysis tool. Then JEEK, network security and monitoring. Suricata, it's IDS and IPS tool. And network miner is used for PCAP analysis. And then we have threat intelligence and analysis tool. So for reputation check, malware analysis, and sandboxing, we are using this threat intel tool. So the popular one is virus total, AnyRun. So AnyRun provide interactive malware sandbox. Hybrid analysis is another great tool for threat intelligence and sandboxing. And urlscan.io, so you can capture the screenshot of the website live without touching the website. Abuse IPDB is another IP reputation and URL reputation platform, and MISP is a threat intel platform. Then we have log monitoring and visibility tool. So Sysmon for deep window visibility. OS queries, another good SQL like endpoint queries, and Greylog is log management tool. Then we have OSINT tool, so it is useful in investigation and threat hunting. So the popular tools are Sodan. So Sodan is used for internet connected devices search. Census is another one, another good one. So it checks the internet asset discovery, who is lookup, the harvester, for email and subdomain gathering, and the key log sources and event IDs. So now let's go over something every SOC analyst must know: Windows event and log analysis, log sources. So here are some popular Windows login ID. 4624 is for successful logon, 4625 is for failed logon, 4672 for special privilege assigned, and 4720 for user account created. So yeah, these are the very useful event IDs. And also we have Sysmon event IDs. So event ID 1 for process creation, 3 for network connection, 7 for image DLL loaded, 8 for created remote thread, etc. And common log sources. So these are the common log sources. So accept these in every SOC environment: firewall log, proxy log, VPN log, email gateway, etc. And the application log. And so This is the interview evaluation tips for hiring manager. So if you're hiring manager, so what to assess? So you can assess the technical knowledge, the SIEM, logs, security basics. And if you're not a hiring manager, you are watching this video as interviewee, so you can also understand what hiring manager wanted to look. So they wanted to check the technical knowledge like core security concept, tool proficiency, log analysis. Also they wanted to see uh, analytical thinking, so how you solve problems, and communication, so explaining incident clearly. Communication, can they explain technical issues to non-technical stakeholders? Incident response, so step by step thinking for responding to an attack. Curiosity, so are you learning actively? Teamwork, collaboration and escalation. And business awareness, so understand impact, not just alert. And the red flags are can't explain past incidents, and doesn't know MITRE attack and kill chain, no familiarity with common tool like CMEDR, Wireshark, etc., and bad documentation habits and lakes decision making skill, and no interest in continuous learning, doesn't know difference between security labels L1, L2, and L3 responsibilities. And green flags are gives real example with clear tone or clear results, ask clarification or clarifying question about scenarios, using threat intel, uh, sources, building home labs, and understanding both technical and business side, and so systematic approach for investigation method, and active in the security community. So if you're writing blogs, creating YouTube videos, or posting on Twitter for the new security trends or your recent findings or learnings, so this is a green flag, guys. So if you haven't started yet, you can start your own content creation. So these are the useful framework and training resources. The framework and standards are like MITRE attack, cyber kill chain, NIST cybersecurity framework, SANS, incident handler handbook. So it's a handbook that will explain the continuous and complete steps for incident response. And there are some training platform I have mentioned here. Try hack me, so this is good for SOC level 1 and level 2 path. And try hack the box is good for blue teaming challenges and red teaming challenges. And also the SANS, cyber aces and cyber defenders, let's defend. Certification to consider, so entry level certifications are CompTIA Security Plus, CISA, and also the CEH falls under entry level. Intermediate level GCIA, GCIH, Blue Team Level 1, and the advanced certifications are Blue Team Level 2, OSCP for offensive knowledge. If you are if you wanted to go into penetration testing and red teaming, so OSCP is the good one. And uh, GCFA, GNFA is another uh, good certification. And that's the complete video for this series. So I hope you enjoyed the core questions, scenario questions, uh, behavioral questions, and the core SOC tools, logs, interview preparation, and resources. So if you are preparing for a SOC role, this is everything you need to build a strong foundation. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. If you want to if you want a separate video on log analysis, SIEM query, or real SOC studies, you can just let me know. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.